Kevin, do we need a mic check? Check, check, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4.
One more second.
That's ABC Blue.
I know. I was tired this morning, okay? Long election
No, that's good branding. All right, everybody, Chris Swanson here, the Sheriff of Genesee County. Welcome to another weekly briefing. We treat every dead body as a homicide until proven otherwise. Every missing 15-year-old is treated as a kidnapping until proven otherwise, and that's where we are at today. I'm going to talk about both cases. Yesterday, we were asked by Genesee Township Police to assist them in an investigation where a 15-year-old, the day before, on Monday, was seen on video leaving Kearsley High School with a 54-year-old male. The 15-year-old, I'm going to put her picture up right now, is identified as Norina Horton. We don't believe that she is in danger of being harmed, perhaps more than what she already is, but we do know that she's with or without consent, a 54-year-old individual named Robert Tramble. Robert Tramble has a criminal history dating back to 1988 of robbery, unarmed, homicide, second degree, carrying of concealed weapons, felon in possession of a weapon, possession of ammunition, resisting and obstruction. This is all 2016, 1998, all the way up to 2019. Felony firearms, carrying of concealed weapons, possession of firearm. We know that Genesee Township got the call from a DHHS, which is Department of Health and Human Services, because our 15-year-old is a ward of the state of Michigan through DHHS. She was being overseen by a foster family, and when this 15-year-old did not report to school on Tuesday, that's what prompted Genesee Township to be notified, and we were brought in to help with search warrants. Now, here's where we are right now. We've written multiple search warrants. We found that Ms. Horton had two phones. She had what we call a burner phone and her own phone. And we, based on our investigation, noticed that around Ballinger and Raskob area, there's an apartment complex there. All night that phone is pinging in that area, but we were not able to find her. We have teams out, and we have all day and all night that are over in the Genesee Township, Indian Hills area, as well as over off Court and Ryan. The reason we're at Court and Ryan is because we're able to track the vehicle that she was in, which is a 2011 black pickup truck. This is a Tahoe. You'll notice that this vehicle is the actual vehicle. It's got aftermarket rims. We believe that it's got a taillight out, either left or right side. And that license plate is Edward Robert John 7510. It's a 2011 Chevy Tahoe. Last seen there at Kearsley High School on the 6th. And we do know that there was no force getting into the vehicle, but because she is 15 and cannot legally consent, we don't know what's happening. So I have two messages. Number one, Horton, if you're listening, we want to give you a place to come that's safe. We want to make sure that your story is heard. Once she is in our custody and safe, and we do our assessment, we have already reached out to Voices for Children to do a what we call a forensic interview to debrief what happened these last 3 days. We also want Tramble to do the right thing. When you're in custody and you have with you a 15-year-old, whether it's a missing, a runaway, or kidnapped, we don't know that, but we're treating it as such. That's why we need you to come forward. He's not on parole, he's not on probation, he does have a criminal history, but we need to put these pieces together. We've been asked by Genesee Township, we've been asked by the Kearsley High School administration to pursue this case, to put some closure to it. And as you know from years of ghost stories, this population is the most vulnerable when it comes to those that could be trafficked or could be exploited in any way. That's why we are putting our efforts and our assets towards finding this 15-year-old girl. Any questions so far on that? We're asking the public, if you've seen this vehicle, a 2011 black Tahoe that has those aftermarket tires and rims, to call 911. If you see Horton, a 15-year-old female in any location whatsoever. If you're Snapchatting with her, if you're on Instagram with her, if you are on TikTok with her and she gives information, call 911. And of course, if you see the suspect, who's a suspect now, a 54-year-old male black, Robert Tramble, to call 911. That's what we need the public to do right now.
Any relation between the two?
The question is the relation between the two. We know there's no family relation, but our investigation shows that there may have been contact in the past, maybe even with Tramble and this 15-year-old's birth mother, who does not have custody of her. But these are some questions that we need to get answers to. Right now, the school, DHHS, they want to find Horton and start putting the pieces back together.
Any reason to believe she's in danger right now?
She is in danger. I believe that until proven otherwise, which is the reason why we are so adamant on getting her identified. You cannot just let a 15-year-old walk away from a public high school and have no accountability to where she is, who's with her, is she safe, is she not? And that's why when Ghost was called in to assist and now lead the investigation, we appreciate Genesee Township and their trust in us. We are working in concert with them, but we treat it as such until proven otherwise. I'm hoping that she's not in any danger physically, that nothing's taken place so far, but the circumstances and the history of what we've done, it may be a danger that we don't know yet, but we're putting it all together and we're going to find out. Thank you so much. The second is an update on our missing Secretary Kelly McWhorter. I did a briefing last week, and I had Lieutenant Nicholson, Lieutenant Stadler there, and I told you we have over 1,000 hours into this investigation, 500 acres, 100 hours of drone footage, multiple search warrants out. Let me tell you where we are right now. Just yesterday, Lieutenant Nicholson and Sergeant Pritchard went up to Prescott, Michigan. And the reason that we went to Prescott, because our belief is that Higgins, who is the one responsible for the death and the missing of Kelly, went there intentionally. There's a trip that was in Ohio before, but when he went up to Ogama County in Prescott, we are convinced that he went there for a purpose. His GPS monitoring was smashed in his truck. His phone was dumped in Montrose. He tried not to be identified or tracked. And when he went there, we know there's a window of time, Monday at 2 a.m., which is going to be the 16th, up until that next day, Tuesday, we actually showed up at a house at noon. We know that there was this big gap. Well, the tip that we got in was somebody who said she saw the truck at a location at a lake. And I want to pull up that map because it's just a few miles away from the city of Prescott. It's called Skidway Lake. And if you notice where that pin is, that's Skidway Lake, and where that whole area is in Ogama County. We searched the area. We talked to business owners, homeowners, and we have not come up with a solid location. Now, I will tell you that we have individuals that are assisting us. And I want to point special attention to an individual who's gone up and down and attempted to help us secure video footage, and that's Mr. Gamez, Shane Gamez of Prescott. I hope you're watching right now because he independently has multiple businesses up there and homes, and he's taken it on himself to go search and see if there's any video footage, and gave Lieutenant Nicholson a thumb drive of hours and hours and hours of footage that we have to go over to try to pin a time and a date where that 2009 F-150 drove by his business. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Gamez, the Prescott business owner. We also know that next week we're going to have 40,000 eyes in the fields throughout Michigan because of opening day. And what we're looking for, based on what we have in this truck, is a 2-track, a road, a small ditch where Higgins drove, and then disposed of Kelly's body. We know in the back of that 2009 gray Ford pickup truck, he had digging tools. We don't have any results of that dirt, but we do know that there was debris and dirt on those tools. And we believe that he drove somewhere, and then not far from the vehicle, she was buried. So to anybody out there who is going up to their hunting blinds for the first time, we're looking for something that looks disturbed. I know we had a leaf drop, but most people know their property well enough that they see ruts. If they see anything that is unusual, certainly call 911. If you're back in the field and you don't want to lose your spot, just do something to mark it. And we're working with the Ogama County Sheriff. We'll send a car there to secure it, and we'll be up there as well. But We need the assistance of every Michigan hunter that's going to hit the fields like the greatest search party ever on November 15th. I will tell you that we have additional search warrants out. The one that's probably going to be key to me and to this team is Higgins' phone. We want to thank our friends for the FBI. Remember, he smashed it in half, but it was still giving off a signal. The FBI is rebuilding that phone. And when we rebuild it, we're able to do a forensic download. And on that phone is going to be different things that he had ordered and what he said, places he went, GPS. So we're looking to add more intel to find out where he was. So there's only one person besides Kelly who knows where she is, and that is he. And of course, he killed himself. I will say that Lieutenant Sadler, based on our investigation, also we sent one to Google. And I find it interesting that just a few months before she went missing, we have 3 unusual Google searches from Higgins himself. Number one, how far do you have to bury a phone not to be tracked by electronic surveillance devices? Number 2, is it legal to camp on state land without a permit? We do know that Higgins was a survivalist. He had gear in his truck. He was a nomad. Even in Flushing City, people will say that he didn't associate with anybody. He had a death stare. We know that he was premeditated from that domestic post that he had from 6 years ago that was so demeaning of a domestic partner. So we know this was in his mind, but the Google searches that he did, they paint a picture like this next one. What's the definition of avenge? Not revenge, avenge. Where he has defined himself as the attacker. That's why we know this is premeditated. He thought about it, he planned it, and we're trying to backtrack all these days, weeks, and months and years that he did plan this violent attack and death of Kelly. We will continue to give updates. The property, we should get an update tomorrow from the lab. As I said, we have 10 pieces of biological property and technological property up at the lab. We have 10 more to go. We're looking forward to seeing what the FBI is doing with that phone. They give us about another week and they'll have that done. Then we get that phone, we make an image of it, and we get to transfer that data into a software to interpret. We're on the right track. As I said to one of Kelly's friends today at the county board, we will not stop. We're not going to ever close this case until she is found and given a proper homegoing. But we are going to continue to do this and other things. I want everybody to know that if you have or see something in any of the cases that we do or anybody else, to just feel free to come forward. We will protect you. We're still looking for the one who wrote out that tip. We will protect you. Tramble, if you come forward and tell us where Ms. Horton is, we will treat you with the respect that you deserve, doing the right thing. But you cannot just take a 15-year-old and not be identified. So any questions about either one of those cases or Kelly?
On the Kelly case, any results on the soil? Maybe that's coming tomorrow. And then a follow-up on the investigation. Is there anything in your investigation into this missing 15-year-old to lead you to believe that she has been harmed in any way? Have you found anything that might be disturbing?
The question is the dirt on the shovels. That's the Michigan State Horticulture Department. That's going to be weeks and months down the line. That is not what's at the lab. So I have no results on that. The second question about Horton is, again, do we believe she's in danger? She was not forcibly put into that truck. The video surveillance at Kersley shows that she walked in there. Now, what we don't have, because it's Snapchat, many times those records are deleted for a purpose, and we don't have his phone, we don't know the conversation, what caused her to go with him. Was there a threat? Did he try to persuade her? Did he groom her? We don't know that yet. So we're treating it as, yes, she's in danger, but we don't have anything that says that she's been harmed physically as of right now, but we treat it as such. When she is rescued and we take her and get her interviewed, if she discloses this happened or that happened, then we'll move accordingly. But we treat it as a 15-year-old was taken. She doesn't have consent to do this right now, so until proven otherwise, we're giving it the highest attention.
Has she been taken before?
She's not been taken before, but she does have a history of some runaway in the past. You know, clearly being a ward of Department of Health and Human Services, you can see there's probably history there. There's probably a deeper need that we're going to address. This is the first time that my office has ever had any interaction with Horton. But if there's a situational need, a mental health need, an addiction need, whatever it is, we're going to try to fill that so it doesn't happen again. But we got to find her safe, get with Tramble, interview him, find out if he has any culpability, put this case to rest, and then move on. How do we keep it from happening again? Not only from Horton, but others that are in that situation. Kearsley's not, the only school in this community that is doing this, and there's no school that's immune from something like this. So this is why we have, 17 school resource officers, and we have our school relationships with other SROs. There are people that are in our elementary, middle schools, and high schools that need this type of protection, and we're gonna make sure we give it to them.
Do you believe she wants to be found?
Yeah, I really do. The question is, does she want to be found? I do. But the issue is she wants to be found, and she wants whatever caused her to leave in the first place fixed. And that's what that's what we call the police evolution. Just don't treat the symptom, fix the problem.
I'm sorry, I know you said mom did not have custody. Is dad in the picture at all, or any
Yeah.
of immediate family? I know you said she's away
Right.
from the States.
Yeah, she doesn't have an immediate family that has any custody with her. Dad is out of the picture. Bio mom lives in the area. We're working, some of those leads to find out. But a foster family is the one who had custody of her that answers to the state. Yes.
Now, is the mother and Trumbull, as you say, we don't know their relationship. They did have one, we don't know though.
Correct. She did know him from the past, but to the depth of that, we're still looking into it. Again, we just got this complaint as the sheriff's office, estimated around 4:30 p.m. Genesee Township was made aware of it Tuesday morning, which is yesterday, and had some time to get it. So we're putting a lot of those pieces back together. The priority is to identify and find her and Tramble.
Can you tell us who called Genesee Township? Was it the foster family or was it the school?
No, the Department of Health and Human Services contacted the school because the school is required, did a fabulous job reporting, and she didn't show up for school. Just like a parent would be called if their child didn't show up for school. Again, thank you for everything, and we'll give you another briefing as things progress. Have a safe day.